Today on the Diz List, we shut down the parks and ride all the rides.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything at Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and in the intro I said we shut down the parks and ride all the rides. There's a reason for that.
There is. We got a really good message from one of your friends.
Yes, we did.
And it was kind of spurred, his message was spurred from something else on very famous YouTube.
Yes, so shout out to my buddy Vinny.
Yep.
Vinny, well, I have two friends that are Vinny. This is Vinny G.
Yeah.
I never know if people want me to put full names. So this shout out to Vinny G for this suggestion.
Yep.
And he had mentioned this video that he had seen from the YouTube influencer Mr. Beast, which I'm pretty sure he's like
he might
top
be the
five, number 2.
He's way up there.
Like he has his own like chocolate bar line at Walmart. Like I'll be honest, I don't watch the guy a ton.
I don't either.
I don't dislike him. Like I went through and watched this video.
By all accounts, he's a pretty good human being and like gives a lot of money to charities.
He does. He
does
seems
a lot
like
for
a good
people.
guy. I mean, the majority of our YouTube viewing is probably,
I did my homework.
Scouts, Tim Dracker,
I did my homework and watched this. I did my homework and watched it though.
I have a couple things I want to say about it, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
But the gist is that Mr. Beast decides to do a $1 date and a $500,000 date, right?
Yeah,
it's $500,000.
I think he did many different dates, but like ranging from 1 to 500,000.
And he starts off with a $1 date on a Ferris wheel
with his fiance.
Right. And then he ends. He says Disneyland, but this is one of my issues with the video because I'm very particular with this. It's not Disneyland. It's California Adventure, and he ends
wrong
on the Ferris wheel in California Adventure.
He did both.
No, I know he did both.
Okay.
But he, in the video, refers to it always as Disneyland.
Okay. He was at Disneyland Resort.
All right, that's fair. But that wasn't said. He just says, I'm at Disneyland, and they never, in the video, they don't talk about going to Park 1 to Park 2. That irks me.
Disneyland's weird.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Like and the entrances are so close. They're like 100 yards apart.
Yeah, Disneyland Resort.
Maybe less.
Meaning all of the property.
Like Walt Disney World Resort.
Right.
Which is what we figured out the size of San Francisco.
Yeah, would be okay. Yeah. But Disneyland refers to their Magic Kingdom.
Correct. Which is called specifically Disneyland.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they'll ever change because that's part of Walt's vision.
No.
I have kind of an overview of what they did. So they rented out the park, and there were certain reports that tried to put a spin on this. We talked about this a little bit last week, that some of these news outlets said Mr. Beast shuts down the park, and they made it look like he shut down the park during the day and like squeezed out other visitors. That's not true at all. They did an after hours event. So if you watch the video, it's at night.
Yeah.
So it's probably, I don't know, what time would you guess? Maybe 9 o'clock?
Based on when it aired and what time of year it was, my guess is it had to have been at 9 or later.
Right.
Because it was dark when they started.
Yeah.
And this time of year in that part of California, I mean, it was dark. It wasn't dusk. It was dark.
And then in the video, also, again, to be fair and to be transparent, they could have done more than what was in the video.
I'm sure they did.
But I did a little bit of research, not a lot of research, to find out, hey, what did they do anything else besides this? And really all that came back was this. This is really all I found. So that first they do Rise of the Resistance, which is funny because Mr. Beast gets on the ride and says, is this a good time to say I've never seen these movies before? I'm like, okay. So they do Rise of the Resistance. Then they do Custom Lightsabers, which is Savi's workshop. It's one of the things I've never done.
Yeah.
Okay. They do the custom lightsabers. Then they say they walked over to the Ferris wheel. And that's why I'm like, well, you went to a different park. And they ride the Pixar Pal around. And then after that, like I would want to go and ride more rides, like ride the Incredicoaster. And they just play like midway games for a while, which is fun, sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I would be probably going and riding other rides if it was up to me. And then they have dinner in front of the Sleeping Beauty Castle. They call it the Disneyland Castle. Again, I get bent out of shape about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they have this private Disney parade, and apparently there were some celebrity guests there that we did not see as part of the video. So
now,
that's what was shown.
What I would say is this. This isn't the first time or first group of people that have shut down the park for after-hours events.
That's also true. That's a good point to bring up. They didn't start this.
The formerly Diz Unplugged, now it's something different since that's a whole big dramatic thing. But anyway, the former podcast Diz Unplugged used to have a major event every year for their anniversary. And they would shut down, they would book all of Galaxy's Edge for after hours. They've done it before. Or Toy Story Land. Or Parts. I suspect that the reason they only did certain things.
Oh, that's a good point, because they only staff those areas.
To staff that much for $500,000, while that's a lot of money, that is not enough money to keep that even open for 2 hours with all the staff and all the insurance that it would cost. Because you have to pay insurance per hour you're open to for like these rides. And
I didn't think of that. I bet you're right.
So
that's probably why.
So we're operating under a different premise today when we do this.
Yes. Let's make that clear from the start here.
We are going to shut down an entire park all day. We can do whatever we want for the whole day.
The park is not available.
Think
Sorry, you
COVID.
Can't. Yeah.
think shut down.
And you can only do park reservations on certain days. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where it would say, no, sorry, this park is unavailable for this day.
This is unavailable for everybody except for us.
Right.
So, there are certain parks, obviously, that we would prefer to do things. We can talk a little bit when we get into the second half of the show about what our preference would be and what we would do. But
we have a couple news bits and a shout out.
I have a couple news bits, a couple shout outs that I wanted to bring up. Really, the big news is that Astro Orbiter is reassembled and testing. So Astro Orbiter is coming back, much to the dismay of the two people in this room.
Was anything different? Like they changed cars?
No,
fresh
it looks
coat
like
of
it's
paint?
just. Well, yeah. I mean, it was refurbished. So I'm guessing, going in there and updating any of the paint that was maybe a little bit dull.
Nothing, no visible changes, no color changes.
Doesn't appear to be so.
Okay.
No.
I like that. I like that kind of stuff.
So they went through, probably made it a little smoother, did some stuff like that. And then I wanted to give a shout out and also let them know that I'm extremely jealous and upset at them for not inviting me. Ear Scouts yesterday. So if you are not following Ear Scouts on YouTube, following Ear Scouts on Instagram, or joining at least for free their Patreon, and I don't care. I'll plug their Patreon before ours today because straight up, last night I was very upset at him, at Rob and Eric, because
they went to one of your favorite places.
They went to a place that it's my bucket list meal at Disney is to eat at the chef's table at Victoria and Albert Sound. They didn't do the chef's table. However, Rob and Eric were posting pictures the entire time of their meal, and I was like, I don't need to eat anymore today, but I am really hungry. It looked like a fantastic experience, and so I just wanted to kind of say, if you're not following them on Patreon, that's a good thing to do, is just do it for their live chats when he does stuff like that.
Let me add this in too, if you don't mind. If you are looking to go to Disney soon and you want to find out, okay, how does Lightning Lane work? What are the current changes? What are the updates? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go and follow them, because they always have really great updates for what's current and new and all the changes.
If you just saw me jump, I don't know if that got recorded. I don't think it did. Rob had an alert turned on his phone, and it just dinged.
No, it was on the computer. I have a new computer.
In my ears, a very
I got a new computer, and there's certain settings that I'm trying to go in and figure out how to change. Like the computer's always locked.
Yeah.
And I don't need it to be locked. Like it's just at my house. It's not like it's on my desk at school.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure that out. And now when these notifications come in,
that was loud.
Like this giant ding blasted in our ears.
I thought you played the Patreon. I thought you played that.
That's much more, manageable. That's the loud version.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to bring up that he has that in his Patreon for free patrons, we do something similar. So if you're not following us for free over on Patreon, we do have some free ones. One of our patrons, who's a longtime patron, sent us an amazing message. And I'm not going to read the message because it was definitely meant for you and I. It wasn't like a public, like, hey, read this on air. But Nicola, thank you so much for the message. It really did make our day. Like, it was amazing. She got her mug, and she was excited about that. And she's like, I've been meaning to reach out for a while. And as I sat here with my mug, I thought,
this is the time.
This is the time to do it.
Yeah.
So, and I also got a good message from Rob and Eric, actually, because they got their mug, too. So that's because, for those of you who don't know, for a small fee each month, you can get access to new, like, bonus content as well as early access to new episodes. And then after 3 months, you get a mug. And so they're shipping out right now to a lot of those people who've been longtime patrons. So it's exciting to get those messages like, oh, I love the mug, love the design. Somebody posted something on Instagram. They were watching us on YouTube holding their mug.
This was yesterday too.
With their young child. She said that he was babbling back and forth with us. So I'm sure he was more, understandable than us sometimes. So
I hope we didn't scare people too much with the ding.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was my messages app, and I quit it. We'll see. Yeah. If it comes on again, I apologize. I'll fix it.
All right. So, but I think we're going to head off to the halftime show because we got a lot to discuss in this second half because we are going to shut down the parks and we're going to ride all the rides. And we're going to see how long it takes to do that. Our halftime is brought to you by our patrons. We're going to see you after the break. Welcome back. Today we're going to discuss all the things we would do if we could shut down the parks like Mr. Beast did, except we're going to go bigger because go big or go home. I think that, maybe someday this could happen. I don't know. We could hit it rich. If we won the Powerball, if we won the Mega Millions, and we could shut it down for one day, my question to you, Rob, is what park would you shut down and what would you do?
I think longtime listeners know which parks we would choose. I mean, I'm going to assume and guess I know what yours would be. Mine would be Magic Kingdom. That's my favorite.
Okay.
And yours is Epcot. I'm assuming those are the two that we're going to focus on.
Oh,
really?
I would have a hard time not shutting down Magic Kingdom because
there's so much to do.
There's so much to do, and I probably wouldn't do it by myself if it were just me.
Yeah.
Shutting down, Epcot or Hollywood Studios. Shutting down because Hollywood Studios is part of the reason I don't like it. It always feels crowded. It's always hot, and if you can go through and do everything really quickly,
Good point.
But probably. I think shutting down Epcot would be pretty cool.
Well, I have info for all four parks.
By myself.
Yeah.
But not for a group. I would probably, if I did shut down Epcot, I would spend most of my time kind of doing the things that I skip because I don't feel like it's worth the time. Things like, waiting. I don't want to have to wait in line for like Remy's. I don't want to have to wait in line for... for instance, the last time I was there was a 35-minute wait for Imagination. Well, I'm not doing a Journey into Imagination wait. And then also like walking through some of the displays that you normally don't do just because you've got so much to fit in an Epcot day. That's probably what I would do in Epcot. I know that you'd probably just try to ride all the rides if you were at Magic Kingdom, right?
I've gotten close. I think the closest I've ever gotten to doing every ride in one day at Magic Kingdom, we had all but two.
Yeah.
So and I think it was Dumbo and Astro Orbiter, maybe?
I believe you said.
Those were the two that we didn't get.
2 spinner rides.
Yeah, we tried. We were almost there.
So in a corollary to what Vinny asked us, he said, what would you do? Where would you do it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then he followed up with, also, if there's no lines, how long do you think it would take you? And so what we did was we went through and we got another notification. That's kind of funny.
I don't know how to turn it off.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look at basically what Rob did. Rob did an optimization problem. And for all you people who know that Rob is an art teacher, are probably
I know where you're going with
probably
this.
just as scared as I am about his optimization abilities. I've taken multiple classes about optimizations as a math major and a statistics guy.
Well,
however,
I had a little robotic help here.
Rob had help from OpenAI
Yeah.
and ChatGPT.
Yes.
Basically what he did is he said, okay, there's nobody in the parks.
Mhm.
What he gave it a prompt. It doesn't matter what the exact prompt was, but gave it a prompt to basically plan a day at these parks with no wait times and lines. So basically, it's like, all right,
How long would each one take?
how long would it take to ride it?
Sure.
How long does it take to walk between them?
That.
How
Yes.
long does it take to go through the queue? The whole thing, and figure it out. And I don't think there's any dining in there, but like we still know, okay, let's tag in, this stuff or whatever. Because it's interesting to think, if you didn't have to wait, how long would it actually take? Because I think for some of these, it's going to be ridiculously long because of how much there is to do at Disney. People forget how much there is to do.
So here's what I have. I have
Yeah, go
all
ahead.
4 parks.
Okay.
And then I have a breakdown of the amount of time the actual ride takes.
Yeah.
And then I have the estimated time that you would need to walk total, not individual, from ride A to ride B.
Okay.
It's the total amount of walking time for that park. So if you like, I can start off with saying each of the 4 parks and how much total time for the rides. We can get into specifics, longest ride, shortest ride if you want to. I have all that information here. So if we start with Magic Kingdom and we look at the estimate, so if you ride everything, and I believe this includes shows. Yes, it does. So this is everything at the park.
Including shows like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor,
Includes
Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, so it includes, here's Country Bear Jamboree, Tiki Room,
Yeah.
Liberty Square Riverboat, like all that stuff.
Which
Carousel Progress.
we
everything.
understand you can't necessarily do some of these because they're closing down.
Yeah.
But like as of right now,
Right.
we've got it.
So the ride time, and like I said, that includes everything.
Can I take a guess?
Sure.
Because I can't really see the way this.
No,
is
and
set.
listeners take a guess right now too. To do everything total,
Just the
the
ride
rides. This is
time.
not walking time. This is like if you added up all the time where you're having an experience at Magic Kingdom, how long do you think?
3.5 hours.
Keep going. More than that.
What?
Yeah.
4 hours.
Almost double that.
7 hours?
No, it's 5.5 to 6.25. Almost double.
So, there's a range because you don't know, like for instance, you don't necessarily know how long certain things will take because of because they I'm assuming what ChatGPT did because it's like all large language models they pull from the internet and sources and stuff, and so they're probably looking at things like Thrill Data, which is a great website, and saying, okay, well, the average run time for this ride is this because sometimes there's downtime within the ride.
And then walking time, I mean, you can guess, but I don't think you care much about that. That is 1.5 to 2 hours total time to do everything at the parks. Doesn't include food, bathroom, nothing else. 7 to 8 hours to do everything.
So when people say to you, why do you go to Disney every year? Because quite frankly, if you're not spending 2, 3, 4 possibly days at Magic Kingdom, you're not getting it all done.
Yeah.
You're just not.
And I learned that the hard way when I went to Disneyland. I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't Fast Pass. I'm not sure if it was Lightning Lane or Genie Plus.
Yeah,
I think it was Genie Plus. Anyway, so we got that. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can knock out like all of the things that I've never done before. We still didn't do it. Like I tried to do every ride that I hadn't done. Like I didn't get to the Nemo subs. I mean, I could go on, but there was things that I had never done before that I still haven't done because we didn't have enough time.
Right.
But there's also ones I couldn't miss. Like I can't miss Haunted Mansion on the West Coast. So we threw those in. But you're absolutely right. There's so much to do at Magic Kingdom and Disneyland that it's so hard. You have to have multiple days to get through it all.
That's not eating.
Yeah.
That's not eating.
Yeah. Or going to the bathroom,
right.
or stopping for a break, or.
So, I mean, you're talking about an 8-hour shift of nonstop movement,
Mm-hmm.
and you haven't eaten, and you haven't went to the bathroom, and you still, I mean, that's walking at a good clip to get from one thing to the next, and you have to go in the right order. And again, this is like ridiculously delusional to think we would ever be in the park completely by ourselves. But my point,
Right.
my point is, and our point is, I think one of the things that's a good takeaway here is there's a reason people have to go for longer times or go back every year. You can't do it in one day. I mean, you can, right? We've talked about Ear Scouts. Rob from Ear Scouts has done videos where he's done everything he could do in one day.
Yep.
But it's almost not enjoyable, like, to go that fast. How do you, like, I don't know. That's crazy.
You want me to move on to Epcot?
I want to know one thing.
Mhm.
Is Carousel of Progress longer, or is
It's
People Mover?
Neither. You're
Well,
wrong.
no, I'm saying which one's longer
Oh, okay.
between the two of those.
Well, then I'll tell you what the longest is, because that's not the longest. And, you said Carousel of Progress.
Carousel of Progress.
That's 20.
Okay, and what's People Mover?
People Mover is 10.
That's it?
Yeah.
What's longer than those?
Hall of Presidents, 21.
Really?
Mm-hmm. See, I love this data. This stuff is very fascinating to me.
That's cool.
Because you assume, and I do all the time, so
I
do
thought
you.
Carousel of Progress was longer than Hall of Presidents.
I did too.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Anything else close? No.
No, I can't imagine anything else close. Tiki Room's probably longer than Country Bears, I'm guessing, by a couple minutes.
Tiki Room is, where is it?
Enchanted Tiki Room. So it's 10 minutes.
10. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Country Bears is 10.
Gotcha.
People Movers 10.
Liberty Square, does it say 17?
Riverboat is 17. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. If there were no lines and no people,
Mm-hmm.
you're still around 7 hours, right? 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I got to think that. So, what was the walk time at Magic Kingdom?
I think 2 hours.
Okay, so we're gonna go do Epcot next.
Yep.
I want to know. Let's
Walk
talk about
time.
the walk time
Let's
first.
start
at
with
Epcot,
walk time.
because
Yeah.
everybody makes fun of Epcot. Every person
Well-
comes out tired.
Well, it's funny because it's the exact same walk time. I'm not sure if that's because of the way the AI calculated it or not, but the walk time is still hour and a half to 2 hours walk time.
Okay, I don't know if I buy that, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
You
what's
you and I talk about AI all the time, and it's not perfect. And
No, it's. I mean, I teach an entire class on it, so no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's basically a giant probability model.
Mhm.
What do they say? Okay, so Epcot. If you didn't do anything, you did no bathrooms, no food.
Mhm.
How long does it take for the ride runtime and then total?
Okay, just for rides only, it's about an hour and 3/4 to 2 hours. So that's just rides.
No shows.
If you add in shows, that is an hour and 20 minutes.
Extra.
Yeah.
So you're talking about to do everything, because we talked about doing
Mhm.
everything over in Magic Kingdom. You're talking about 3.5 hours.
Yep.
Total.
And total of everything plus walking time, your whole day, getting to do everything with walking, is 4.5 to 5.5 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And again, that does not, because that's shows. That's not giving you time to go into the old stave church. That's not giving you time to walk through the shops.
Great
That's
point.
not giving you time to go through and sit in the garden. It's not time. Not giving
Shopping
you time
in Japan.
to go to Japan and go to the art gallery. That's not giving you time to look at the trains in Germany. It's like there's Epcot has as much to do. It's just different stuff. Like, did they put is Moana on there? Way of Water, because I'll bet you that's not even on there.
No, because it's pulling from older data. I'm
Well,
sure.
I don't know if it's pulling from older data or if it's the fact that it doesn't really count. They're not counting it
No,
as.
they're not.
Because I'll bet you on Animal Kingdom they don't count the Maharaja Jungle Trek.
We'll
and stuff
find
like
out
that.
in a minute.
So, I mean, it is. Again, we talk about how there's so much to do at Disney. No people in Epcot, none. You don't go to the bathroom, you don't eat anything, and it's going to take you 5.5 hours.
Let me ask you a couple questions here.
Yeah.
Which is longer, Living with the Land or Spaceship Earth?
Spaceship Earth.
By a minute, 16 versus 15.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else? I had another one here too. And here's another good point. Like Turtle Talk is listed as at 15 minutes. I'm sure that's a.
It's got to be variable because it depends on the discussions.
Yeah, and it depends on who's talking, who you're discussing with.
Yeah.
The longest show. Do you know what it is?
It's
I wouldn't have guessed it.
the longest show.
Yeah, because
Is it Impressions de France?
No, I've only done this twice ever, and that's the American Adventure animatronic
that is
show.
very long.
It's very long. That's 29 minutes.
I've done it twice and I've fallen asleep once in it, and I don't ever fall asleep in shows.
But
it is
the other longest is you were right. The Impressions de France, that's 15, and then Beauty and the Beast sing-along is 18.
that thing's useless.
Yes, it's awful.
I wish they would get rid of it and just
Yeah.
play Impressions of France all day.
You want to jump to Hollywood Studios, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's jump to Hollywood.
Do you want to do
Studios.
some of that info?
Yeah.
So the ride durations for this park is a whole heck of a lot shorter. I'm actually really surprised by the runtime of Rise of the Resistance here.
So what's the total?
The total time.
Can I guess actually?
For just rides? Sure.
Just rides? Oh, just rides? 45 minutes.
Well, it's funny. This is weird data. They give you ride total, not including Rise of the Resistance, and then including Rides of the Resistance. I don't know why it would have done it that way. So let's just do it with all the rides. It'll be about a little over an hour, 65 to 70 minutes.
Okay.
For just rides. With shows, the show total is almost 2.5 hours for shows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So and I didn't realize this was this long. So Rise of the Resistance is 18 minutes. That's gotta count pre-show.
That's counting pre-shows because that's not the length of the ride.
So that's gotta include.
You get on the
Ray
transporter,
and BB-8.
yeah. And I think it should count that. I think that should count.
Oh, I'm not arguing it. I just want to be clear that 18 minutes is not you riding around in that little transport unit with the droid.
I mean, I think that Haunted Mansion starts. I bet you if you look at that time, I bet you Haunted Mansion starts when you enter the stretching room.
You're probably right. Yep.
You know, or Cosmic Rewind probably starts when you enter that first pre-show.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked by the ride length time. I'm extremely shocked by how many shows they have. Like I didn't think that they had that many. Like that amount of runtime in their shows.
Longest show? Do you know what it is? You could probably guess that one.
Nemo, Big Blue Beyond.
Longest show. Oh no, sorry. We're at.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, we're at Hollywood Studios.
My
now.
bad.
Sorry.
My bad.
But I wasn't specific either. Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
Is a half hour.
Indiana Jones. I have no clue how that's still running.
It's a people eater.
It's 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It is hot.
Mm-hmm.
And it is prime real estate. I don't get it. And it's not that good. It is not that good of a show.
You know, I looked further down the list. I saw 30. There's another 30. It's another half hour. And that's Frozen Sing-Along, which is a great show.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's at least air conditioned. You can sit there.
Yes.
When I saw Indiana Jones last, it was so hot. You could barely stand it. It is not enjoyable when it's that hot. And you're sitting there baking. And I know it's kind of pseudo covered in that area. It was, and then of course they do the flash of fire and stuff. And you're like, you can feel the heat. It's like, what the heck, dude?
It says Slinky Dog is 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Even with the second launch?
Yeah, that's probably why. Because you pause and you get taken back.
I feel like that's short.
I mean, you feel like that's short?
Yeah, Rock and Roller Coaster's 2 minutes. I buy that. That one's fast. 2 minutes, you're done.
I don't think that Slinky's that long.
I believe it's correct, but my perception of that ride seems longer. Maybe because of the second launch. Maybe because we're outside.
That's
if
good.
you were to ask me which was longer, I would definitely go with Slinky Dog.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a perception thing, and I'm not doubting this at all.
I mean, you can doubt it. It's ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So,
Which I have gotten incorrect information from before. It's really weird.
Do you know what they call those with AI?
Yeah, you told me the other day. I forgot what it was called. An anomaly or something?
It's called a hallucination.
A hallucination. I knew it was close to that, yeah.
AI hallucination is actually the technical.
That's
it's the
funny.
real technical term they use for when it makes up stuff. Because the way AI works is based on probability. It predicts what you want, and so it will predict what the next thing should be, not necessarily from a factual source. So
the total time, well, for walking time, it's an hour to an hour and a half. That's a smaller layout,
yeah,
right?
I agree.
Total for everything, shows, rides, walking, is 4.5 to 5.5 hours, which I feel like we've come close to doing before.
We've definitely done it.
We did it like the first half of the day, and we're like, let's peace out of here now.
Now, some of those shows weren't open when we did it.
Yeah.
And some of those shows are not open anymore. Like Muppet Vision 3D is no longer open.
And it also includes like Disney Junior Dance Party. Most guests who don't have younger kids are not going to do that. But, families like me, or if I'm going with my wife on our anniversary trip, are we going to do Frozen Sing-Along? Yeah.
Listen,
because it's great.
That park is definitely doable in a day.
Yeah.
With Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
If you have Lightning Lane multipass and you're willing to pay for Rise in addition to it, you can do that park, and you don't even have to pay for Rise if you play your cards right. But like you can do that park in a short day. Oh, I've done it. You can definitely do the last park in a short day. Animal Kingdom.
It's
like I used to advocate for 2 days. Currently, this is a half-day park, in my opinion.
Well, now, yeah.
Yeah, currently.
Yeah. That's why a couple weeks ago I was asking you, I said, can I add a park hopper for 1 day? And I remember you telling me, you said no, because if you add a park hopper, it has to be for the entire...
No, it's not that it has to be, Rob. It's literally the same cost.
Yeah.
So it's like $70 is the add-on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
The longest ride at Animal Kingdom is pretty obvious, and that's Kilimanjaro Safaris. I figure all our listeners are like, oh, yeah.
And the best part is that there's zero way to predict how long that ride can take.
Right,
because
you get a rhino in the middle or a giraffe.
Listen, animals are food motivated, and they have learned that if they stop the truck, that the only way that they're going to get them out of the way is by luring them with food. So they will stand, and those rhinos will stand in front of the truck until somebody comes out with their big giant cabbage or whatever it is they're giving them and puts it in front of them, and they walk out. They're not stupid, right? They're intelligent animals.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you're over in Pandora, which ride is longer? Which ride seems longer? Because you can see the answer right in front of you. Which ride seems longer? Navi River Journey or Flight of Passage?
Flight of Passage.
Seems longer, right?
Correct, yeah.
But they're exactly the same runtime. But here's one where I don't think they include the pre-show.
That's no way including like the pre-show.
Because that pre-show, we stand in that room for like 10 minutes sometimes.
Even when you get on the bike, or not bike, it's not a bike, it's an e-cron.
Right.
Yeah, Navi is. You know my feelings about Navi, but it is what it is. And it looks like they are including the trails.
This is cool. So they have 3 trails. They have Discovery Island, which I don't do a lot, and I should do that more. Those are shorter, so that's about 10 to 15 minutes. Maharaja Jungle Trek and Gorilla Falls, roughly the same length. If I'm estimating, I would say probably takes the same amount of time for me. Usually I have to wait longer to see the tigers, but we've discussed.
There's no people in the park now.
Yeah, I probably get to see the tigers.
Get to see the tigers.
That's my favorite. So that's 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the person, depending on the heat, blah blah blah. So total there is 45, estimate. And then it comes to shows, and as you know, some of our favorite shows, 2 of your favorites. I like the bird show. Certain people in your family are not fans of birds.
Yeah,
but
my wife doesn't like birds.
Well, I wasn't going to say her name, point it out, but she doesn't.
She doesn't like birds. She'll tell you.
Festival of the Lion King, and we've done shows before. We've ranked our favorite shows, and Lion King. I know you love it. Yeah. I love it too. It's so great.
It is quintessential Disney. That show in the park is so perfect. Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
Now, I know you're good with numbers. Obviously, you're a math teacher. I'm wondering this number for Finding Nemo, Big Blue, and Beyond. It says 25.
Yeah.
Is that the new runtime? And if it's the shorter runtime, do you remember the previous runtime, since the current version of this stage show is shortened?
I feel like that's the new runtime because I think
Okay.
the previous one was like 40 plus minutes.
Okay. Which didn't
was a
seem
long
bad. I enjoyed
time.
that. And that park being that hot was an awesome break. And I can tell you the rides and shows and stuff where I go in and I've fallen asleep. Like I'm very
Yeah.
transparent about that.
Yeah.
I don't fall asleep during this one. It's fun. It's
I
exciting.
love that show. It's a great show.
Lion King's another one I've never. Well, you're not comfortable
That's
when
hard.
you're in there.
Yeah, you're on bleachers.
You're on. Yeah, I feel like I'm
You're
in
at
the
a
outfield at
basketball game.
I was gonna say like a Yankee or a Met game, and you're sitting in the metal bleachers in the outfield.
Yeah, they make you do the wave
because I know they
partway
have them
through.
in Yankee Stadium. My cousin gets them all the time.
The bleacher seats.
Do most MLB parks have like those kind of cheesy bleachers in the back?
I mean, yeah, not all of them. They're not necessarily bleachers, but they always have like some sort of like
The 300 section,
the whole 300
all
section
bleachers
at Buffalo,
where
yeah.
the Bills play. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the new one will be like.
I was just gonna say that too, and then I thought to myself, you know what? Listeners probably don't care about the Bills like we do.
Oh,
but
hold
they
on,
should.
hold on. You say that,
Yeah,
but
sure.
when I read you the message from Nicola that she sent us, when I go ahead and read that to you,
Is it Josh
off air.
Allen related?
No, but she mentioned how she saw their first football game, their first American football game.
That's fine.
At
Fair.
the Toilet Bowl. I mean Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. My bad.
You've got to give them a little bit of context now.
Yeah.
I know it,
Yeah.
but explain why you said that quickly.
It's Tottenham Hotspur, and if you are a football fan, what do we think of Tottenham? That's all I'll say. And B, the stadium actually looks like the top of a toilet bowl.
That's funny.
It's ridiculous. It was the worst design ever. But anyway, they saw a game there, and they said they saw some American Bills fans, and they blew their mind by saying, "Go Bills."
Wow.
Because of us.
Yes.
Love it.
Excellent.
Go Bills.
Last thing I'll
Oh.
say before we get off of this topic, and I think our listeners will appreciate this. Did you know, and I think you already do know this, but you know they're filming a Hallmark Christmas movie
Yes,
in Buffalo.
I do. One of our local celebrity DJs or whatever morning show guys.
Yes,
His wife got cast in it.
that's cool.
Um,
So a friend of ours who just retired math teacher,
oh, okay.
he sent me a photo the other day. Who he has it's like obviously it's a friend of a friend. They put a bunch of fake snow in someone's yard, so that his friend lived in that neighborhood and sent him the photo, and he forwarded it to me. So they made all this fake snow and put it in the front yard, and it's pretty. It's been cold here all the way to the beginning of June.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's not.
we've been in the 40s in June this year.
Yeah.
And I think May it rained. I think every single day of the month. It was pretty close to that.
Up until last weekend, we had rain for 28 straight weekends in a row.
Yeah.
Rain or snow.
Yes. Right, which did include snow. Okay, back to our parks. Let me get, and then I'll do the summary at the end because I have that too.
Yeah.
So let me go backwards a little bit. So we're on Animal Kingdom. Ride total for all the rides is an hour to 70 minutes. Okay. And then it says add 10 to 15 minutes if you ride the train both ways.
You want to do me a favor? Can you
Yeah.
subtract, or what's it say for dinosaur?
4.
Okay, what's it say for
Tough to be a bug.
tough to be a bug?
8.
Okay. And
So
what's it
let's go
say? What's it say?
55
What's it say for Triceratops spin?
2.
So you got to subtract all that.
Sure.
So you're looking at 14 minutes. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Total 14 minutes less. So you're under an hour.
Under an hour. So let's say we do 50 minutes there.
Yeah, under an
For
hour.
all the animal trails, the estimate is 45.
Okay.
Okay. All the shows, we'll say an hour and a half. Okay. It's an hour 25, but we'll say hour and a half.
Okay.
So total time for everything is 5.5 to 6.5 hours.
Yeah,
But that includes walking every trail. Like, let's be really clear: seeing every show, walking every trail.
and you can subtract about a half hour off of that right now.
So let's look at all the parks.
I'm
here.
just saying, people on this who have been listening to us know,
Mm-hmm.
I've been an advocate that Animal Kingdom is not a half-day park. That Animal Kingdom is a full-day park, or at the very least, do 2 half-days or even a full day and a half-day.
Right.
And split up what you do. I can't say that anymore because there's just not enough. There's not. Like, those trails are going to be absolutely bonkers packed because all these rides are closed. Oh.
I may not go to that park, and I don't like skipping that park at all, but I don't know. We have 3 days, and we got to pick 3 parks. 2 are already, you never miss Epcot, you never miss Magic Kingdom. Or I do 2 days at Magic Kingdom and 1 at Epcot. Maybe. Anyway, let's do our grand totals. So, do you want me to give you with walking, like doing everything and walking around, or do you want just purely the rides and shows? Which day does better for you?
Start with give me the grand total rides and shows.
Well, there is a grand total, but this is for each park. I'm reviewing first.
No, just give whatever then.
Okay. So with everything, rides, shows, and walking, Magic Kingdom is 7 to 8. Okay,
Yeah.
that's our longest.
Yeah, makes sense.
Then it's a tie between Epcot and Hollywood Studios with 4.5 and 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's also, I want to preface that with, that's in Epcot, not looking at literally anything.
Right.
Okay.
And then finally, Animal Kingdom, which technically comes in second place for time. And I believe that's because you're walking all those trails, and that includes riding the train. That total, and Safaris is very long.
Yeah.
So Animal Kingdom is 5.5 to 6.5. So,
Currently, yeah.
So Magic Kingdom is longest, 7 to 8. Then Animal Kingdom, 5.5 to 6.5. And then Epcot and Hollywood Studios are tied with 4.5 to 5.5. And the grand total for everything, if you want to do them all in one day, you could. No, you couldn't. You couldn't, because you'd have
to stop and eat at some point.
You'd have to stop and eat, go to the bathroom, and transportation to the parks. It's not possible. It's 21 to 24 hours.
There you have it, folks.
I don't think it's possible.
It's not.
No.
What's possible is about the only thing that's possible is if you were to somehow, like, pick your top 10 or your top rides. Because you can't go 10 because there's not even 10 rides at 2 of these parks.
So we're shutting down all 4 parks. You pick your top 10.
Yep,
you could do it.
Pick your top 10 at Magic Kingdom. Your top 10 things to do at Epcot. Your top you can do everything at Hollywood Studios and everything at Animal Kingdom.
And you wouldn't have a lot of sleep, but it's possible.
You could do it, but this is
not everything.
Listen, we didn't do this because we thought, listeners are going to be excited to learn how long exactly.
Well, I love that stuff, but that's not our point.
Right. The more the point is, without lines, you can't do it in a day.
Yeah.
With no one there, you can't do it in a day.
And that's a great point too, because even if you get Lightning Lane or Genie Plus or Fast Pass, whatever you listeners know it as, it takes time to go in and change things, and like that's time too. To alter all that stuff, because you have to do it on the fly in the park. Even if you know what you're doing and you watch all the videos by our buddies at Ear Scouts and you're a pro, right? There's still time that's taken up by selecting and
we have
the Genie slots.
Yeah, we have friends who will say to us, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Florida and we're going to hop over to Disney for a day." And I'm like, "Why bother? You're going to hate yourself." Like, not for nothing, but like I could go in for a day and pick and choose because I know I'm going to come back. But if hey, we're going down to visit family.
We've never been there before.
We have family in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Never been to Disney. I want to go to Disney. We got about a one day ticket. I don't know what you're asking me because I'm going to tell you, don't buy 3 more, and then possibly not even visit 2 of the parks because
it's going to rain one of those days too.
That's the other thing.
Or every day if it's summer at 4:00.
There's so much to do, and it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It's what keeps us coming back, and it's changing. It's always changing. I think it's funny to think about the fact that we complain about how Disney hasn't opened this 5th gate, right? And we complain about they're not doing enough, and when you think though, we've got Tron. That's within the last. If you haven't been since COVID, right? Tron, Cosmic Rewind. What else we got? We've got for new stuff,
Tiana's.
the new Country Bear, Tiana's.
Yeah.
You have a new version of Canada Far and Wide.
Yeah.
You have
Star Tours has some new videos.
New Star Tours stuff. You've got the entirety of Galaxy's Edge has opened since like 2020.
Villains, new villain show.
The villain show.
Yeah.
So I know
Little Mermaid.
I know we like to dump on them a little bit, but like they've done stuff and it's new and it's like it's always new and exciting. And even like Hatbox Ghost, that makes it new.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they've plussed it up a little bit.
Well,
So
it's hard to add a new attraction, I guess maybe other than Cosmic Rewind, because that was absolutely enormous. If you're adding an entire park, there's so much to talk about, right?
yeah.
So much. And then Disney comes out with a ride, like it's,
Yeah.
Is it important? Yes. Is it Disney is still making an effort to update and put money into the parks? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But how the heck are you going to compete with that? I mean, you just don't until it,
Yeah. Until D23 2026.
Let's hope.
Telling you folks. Never know. All right, guys. It's been a lot of fun, Rob, and I'd like to thank Rob and ChatGPT.
Well, doing the best I can.
No, I wasn't being insulting. I'm
no,
being
I didn't
serious.
think you were either. My point is that I love using it, and as educators, we use it to help us compile and organize data. It's not writing any papers or scripts for me.
I mean, no, but yeah, some of it is that using it for that kind of stuff. But I truly do think it's fun to go and look at some of this data. I also would say if you're looking for data, maybe and you just want to see real-time data, thrillData.com, I think it is a great site. Or
yes.
There are a couple different ones out there, so go check them out. That's probably what a lot of ChatGPT pulled from.
Yeah.
But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.